to Thom Hartmann.
Wall Street apparently didn't know what to make of the disappointing jobs report in December. Only 74,000 jobs were created. The Dow was off almost 8 points. NASDAQ rose 18. This is CBS News.
Norman Goldman.
We're just out here to steal your entire industrial base.
Afternoons at 4:06. AM 760, featuring the biggest names in talk. This is the Thom Hartmann Show.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program.
Welcome back. Anything Goes Friday here on the Thom Hartmann Program. And on the Chris Christie story, just for what it's worth, the press reviews are in. USA Today saying things like, "Oh, please," and Christie's hometown newspaper saying, "Nah, we're not buying this." Basically, I mean, not in those exact words. Actually, the exact words are things like the New Jersey Star-Ledger. "How can we trust him as a presidential future leader of our country?" Question mark. New York Daily News: self-serving, self-pitying, a brazen cover-up, pathetic. There is a story over at democraticunderground.com, which is where I got those quotes from, that Chris Christie was once asked by a young girl in an audience, a 10-year-old or thereabouts, what was his favorite thing about being governor, and he answered that his favorite thing about governor was that he got to stop traffic. He was talking about I think it's the Holland Tunnel or the Hudson Tunnel, whatever it is. He said, they had the Lincoln Tunnel. He said, whenever I go from New Jersey to New York, they completely stop the traffic and empty the tunnel so that the gubernatorial caravan can just go roaring through there. And then he made a joke about how he thinks that that's probably the main reason why his wife wants him to run for re-election, so that they enjoy going to New York City now because they can stop traffic.
Thanks for sharing. Elizabeth Banks as Marilyn Monroe in Love, Marilyn. And Ben Affleck and JT in the box office bomb Runner. Plus, fresh seasons of Archer, Duck Dynasty, The Following, Copper, House of Lies, and Being Human. And WWE Survivor Series 2013. Oh, yeah!
It's your world. Have your say on AM 760, Colorado's progressive talk.
Mark Taylor-Canfield in Seattle. Hey, Mark is a writer, reporter, blogger. So you said that there's a huge turnout for the Socialist candidate yesterday. We had her on our show yesterday, didn't we? Yeah.
Yes, I want to thank you for that. And by the way, over the holidays, over December, I was able to take some time off from journalism, and we recorded a CD of brand new original music, and I have a new book. So as soon as those are published, I will make sure you get them.
Cool. The Mark Taylor-Canfield brand extends itself. That's great.
Well, and what's interesting is because of Kshama Sawant, our new Socialist City Council member in Seattle, it looks like I'll be writing for an Indian newspaper because the international media is all over her right now. There was Indian media there at her inauguration on Monday, and one of the things that she was talking about was the way that the corporate power centers have taken over the economy and how the working class has suffered. And that kind of relates to what you were talking about before. And I would just quote David Corton, our local economist here with Yes Magazine, who would say, it would be great if free enterprise existed, but instead, mostly what we get these days is monopoly capitalism. So my question is, where's Teddy Roosevelt when we need him?
Right.
But Kshama Sawant has definitely caused a brand new grassroots political movement in Seattle. It's totally amazing, Tom. I've never seen anything like this in my life, and I've been covering local politics in Seattle for years. Never seen a crowd like that. Never seen an overflow crowd at a city council and mayoral inauguration. They actually had to hold the ceremony in the public lobby, which is a huge area at City Hall. And she had people all over on all of the layers, all of the levels of the lobby holding $15 an hour minimum wage signs. And Joe Higgins, Irish member of Parliament, who's also a socialist, was there to speak on her behalf and also gave a speech at her celebration party after the inauguration. But I have never seen anything like this. I mean, she literally brought some people to tears waiting so long to hear a politician speak up for the working class. And the first thing she said after she raised her fist to the crowd was, there will be no backroom deals.
Right.
And also, Tom, to answer your question, I think you asked me once before about whether she is coming across as a social democrat and a European sort of Canadian style. I would say yes.
Yeah.
She's definitely, she's not ranting about Marx. She's talking about corporations and the power.
Yeah, she did on our program. And I think if you... Does that make sense?
It's great to see how... Yes, I agree with that, and I think that she's already had a big influence on city politics because every one of those candidates that spoke during the inauguration had to mention $15 an hour minimum wage. They had to mention police accountability, which is an ongoing issue in Seattle where the Justice Department, the U.S. Justice Department still says that the Seattle Police Department are dragging their feet on civil rights reforms. So, you know, she's already pushed the local political scene, and it's been amazing to watch the people who felt disenfranchised, as she would describe them, poor, disenfranchised, and oppressed, to see those people, regardless of whether they consider themselves socialists, and I would say that the majority of people who support her in this town probably don't, but they like what she's saying, and she's authentic, and as long as she stays that way, I think she's going to get...
Well, Bernie Sanders calls himself a socialist. I mean, it's not like there's nobody out there using that word. I mean, Bernie doesn't use it a lot, but he doesn't run away from it at all. And, you know, he calls himself a democratic socialist. But.
Right, and the alternative, she has a PhD from North Carolina State University and is currently a teacher at Seattle Central Community College, so she's an educator. But they ran a candidate in Minneapolis, Ty Moore, and he almost won a seat. He came within a few hundred votes of winning a city council seat there. So they are going to use electoral politics as a way to change the political dialogue, and she said from the very beginning that she represents the working class. And Joe Higgins, the Irish member of Parliament, during his speech said, this is not just a local story. Kshama Sawant has captured the attention of people all around the world because he's getting calls from all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
South America, Europe, Asia, you know.
It's true. It's true. Mark, thanks a lot for the report. Mark Taylor-Canfield from Seattle.
CBS News, I'm Pam Coulter. The chemical company blamed for the spill that's caused a water emergency in West Virginia has been told to stop operating. Hundreds of thousands of people cannot drink or shower with tap water because the chemical got into a water treatment facility. Water company spokesman Jeff McIntyre says they don't know how long it will take to flush out the system.
We have no timeline. Unfortunately, this is in the distribution system. Once it's in there, there's no more treatment for it.
The federal government declared an emergency, and FEMA is already sending 75 truckloads of water to the state. A lot of people are nervous now that Target says as many as 110 million customers had their credit, debit, or personal information stolen.
I pay cash for this.
Well, that's what I do. Pay with cash.
Some state attorneys general are launching a nationwide investigation into the holiday data breach at Target. The flu is already taking a toll on California, CBS's Steve Futterman reports.
Officials say this year's flu is now widespread in 35 states. Here in California, it's proven to be deadly. 7 people have died from the flu, and health officials are investigating an additional 28 deaths to see if the flu is to blame. Flu season typically peaks in California in February and March. Steve Futterman, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Despite an ongoing legal battle over the legality of same-sex marriage in Utah, there's good news for couples who already tied the knot there. CBS's Howard Ehrenstein has details from Washington.
Same-sex marriages are on hold in Utah, but for couples already married?
I am confirming today that for purposes of federal law, these marriages will be recognized as lawful and considered eligible for all relevant federal benefits on the same terms as other same-sex marriages.
Attorney General Eric Holder posted a video on the Department of Justice website.
These families should not be asked to endure uncertainty regarding their status as the litigation unfolds.
About 1,300 couples were married in the state during a 2-week window before the Supreme Court issued a stay. Howard Ehrenstein, CBS News, Washington.
The State Department has issued a travel alert for Americans headed to the Winter Olympics in Russia.